What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you today laughing, honestly, about Joe Rogan, the whole backlash on Joe Rogan, and how a lot of these like baby boomer 76 to 80-year-old musicians are like, I'm taking my music off of Spotify. I can't even do this with a straight face. Listen, y'all, I want to be very clear. Joe Rogan is popular with Gen X and millennials. Millennials are 90 million people. Let me say that again. 90 million. Peter put it on the screen. 90 million. 26 to 40 years old. Then you got Gen X that's freaking 40 to 55 years old. Okay. Now they've already told you some trends that are important to pay attention. Put it on the screen, Peter. 48% of all home purchases were done in the Southeast last year. That they're so shocked. They're so shocked that people are pouring out of LA. They're getting out of New York. They're getting out of Boston. They're getting the hell out of DC. They're getting out of those places. That used to be where the talent, put the quotation marks, talent on the screen, Peter. That's what used to be the talent went to. The go-getter young guy or girl. Sex and the City show was basically a marketing for New York, okay, for like 10 years. So now they're shocked that 48% of all the home sales were in the South, aka the South will rise again. And two, that 90 million millennials are starting to come into, now it's about 4 more years before most millennials will be at this home buying age. And people are like, well, millennials have money. Honey, the later older millennials, that 32 to 37 to 39, they're getting married. They're having kids. They're buying houses. It's the norm, right? That nobody but the Black community is only people doing it backwards. And I'll just go there. When people say, why do Black baby boomers have all the wealth, 21%, or just baby boomers in general have 21% of the wealth? It's because they got married and they buy a home. We try so hard to fight against the narrative, but when you can control, the housing is the foundation, y'all. Once you get the housing numbers in a calm, consistent pattern, your living is easy street. But see, a lot of people want to tell you, oh no, I want to hop around the city. I want to move from apartment. And 8 years later, they ain't got shit to show for it, but a car and a bunch of apartments they lived in. Y'all, that is not the win. I looked at luxury penthouse apartments in Dallas the other week, and they are literally $3 grand, $4 grand, $5 grand. But Austin, Texas is charging like $4 grand for this little rinky-dink tiny thing that faced the water. I said, Austin, you're insane. I'll go buy a house for her to do that. I'll go buy $1 million ridiculous ass house for her to do that.
How you guys doing? This is Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. Listen, I know this year has kicked some of you right in the pants, but we don't have to sit down and take this lying down. At the end of the day, what we can do here is fight back. You have to design your digital life. Many people out there know the power of the internet, know the power of social media, know the power of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, but don't know the steps in order to organize themselves to win. How do you get on there, get leads, get customers, and win? Well, that's what I'm putting together this course for, is for those of you who want to have a digital footprint and dominate. Listen, in these years of 18 to 24 months, we don't know whether we're going to be in the house or out the house. Let's get you where you want to be, near your family, near your friends, in a safe location, and still making money daily. Let's not give up because of the news, of the lack of support from friends and family. You can do this.
I think Atlanta's going to be the only city, Atlanta, Nashville, and Charlotte, that has all this really, really new construction in Dallas, really, downtown, that incentivizes you to actually live downtown. Everybody else has old, dilapidated, need upgrades, housing downtown. Okay? And so why am I talking about housing and we're talking about Joe Rogan? Because what they're trying to figure out is, why are all these people doing the opposite of what we want them to do? They're listening to Joe Rogan. They're buying houses in the Southeast. They're literally moving sight unseen and buying houses in the South, right? They're like, oh, this remote work. They're making fun of people who want to remote work because a lot of people know their job don't need them there every day. Right? So here's Joe Rogan. He was literally, I mean, if you actually follow Joe Rogan's career, put Fear Factor here, Peter. Put Fear Factor right here on the screen. Fear Factor. Fear Factor had Joe Rogan on where people are doing all kind of weird stuff, and it was the beginning of reality TV. I gotta see what year Fear Factor started, but it was like the beginning of reality TV, and people could not figure out why would people do this? Why would people go on there and do that? And then Joe Rogan was in UFC. Put a picture of Rogan in UFC here, Peter, and he literally has moved through. And I think he's a Gen X. She's a Gen Xer in his late 40s. But long of the story short is he's moved through our mental. We've grew up with Joe Rogan doing something silly, starting the reality TV show stuff, then going over to the UFC, building up his brand there and building up his comedy brand, and then selling to Spotify for $100 million. Peter put $100 million on the screen. You have to understand why is the cancel Joe Rogan not working? It's the same ring that Justin Trudeau ignoring the Canadian drivers is not working. Right? Media is feeding you this story and nobody's buying it. So no, we're not canceling Joe Rogan. Sorry. 70-year-old boomer who wants to take their music off Spotify. No one cares. Joe Rogan is the reason they're on Spotify, not you. Not you. Sorry, YouTube and Apple made a big mistake here. Joe Rogan being on Spotify is the reason people are on Spotify. Period. Point blank. It's a wave. They're riding the wave. Let it go. So again, I just thought this was funny. I thought this was a good conversation. You have to understand what's happening. There's a trend here, and people are massively bucking it. And as much as you guys are like, millennials don't make any money, and this is happening, 90 million millennials, nobody's getting married. Nobody's having, no, you're not getting married. Your segment of broke millennials aren't getting married and aren't doing things that are happening that we see in the trends, which is they're buying homes, they're getting married, they're moving out to the suburbs. They're like bump these big cities. They're moving out and doing homesteads. They're moving out and doing van life. They're moving around. They're out of here. They're listening to Joe Rogan. Why? Because he pulls on different types of conversations. He basically is the more cooler version of Alex Jones a little bit. That's all. Anyways, you guys, this is your girl, Ericka. I thought this was a good one for the night. Hope you enjoy. Let me know. Give me all the thoughts in there. Guys, tell me what you're thinking. All right, this is your girl. Later.